Hey guys, Desolator Magic here, and you might have noticed some massive changes to Arena. I'm going to try to burn through them as quickly as I can, even though they are unbelievably complex. And the worst part is words cannot describe the level of confusing disaster that the articles on the forum posted by the devs that are supposed to explain this actually are. They're so aggravatingly vague and confusing, and it's like half the information. I wish they would have read through their post once and been like, oh, that's right, this makes absolutely no sense, and then corrected it. So we can get some information from it, some usable information, which is why I'm going to break it down, but, ooh, this is bad. Oh, also, there's no central compressed changelog at all. It's split over 3 forum posts by like 3 different people over like 3 different days or something. It's just terrible. And then they all like refer to each other. It's kind of like Wikipedia where you just keep clicking on things and you get deeper and deeper and deeper until you don't even know where you are anymore. That's the patch log for this. So let's start with the first one, as far as I can tell chronologically, posted by Chris Clay. Not really sure on the gender on that one, so let's just go with he. I don't know. If you're female, spell it with a K, I'm just saying. So he starts with, while we've colloquially referred to the 0.1 December release as the Rank Matters update, as we began to do a full breakdown of the upcoming changes, it became apparent very quickly that Rank Matters didn't accurately describe all the changes where we were making. Okay. For starters, to ensure we got to a point where we could use player ranking in a meaningful way, we had to do a complete overhaul of the ranking system. Oh, by the way, you're all reset to Bronze Tier 4 and your MMRs are reset. Congratulations. The other part of this was updating and adjusting the way we treated matchmaking, both in our ranked events and elsewhere. This is where we're going to be talking about the latter. What a weird way to phrase that. This post was from a day ago, so when they say current system or currently, they actually mean the old system because the patch was released today, just FYI. Oh, and by the way, everything I've ever said in a conspiracy and theory video about Arena has been proven true, mostly by pretty much these posts. So I have a 100% track record of being 100% accurate. Here's why. Matchmaking waits. To start things off, here's a breakdown of the various systems we have at our disposal that can be used as part of our matchmaking system. Rank, which is like, Bronze Tier 2. Win-loss record, and then in parentheses within an event, and we all know that. I mean, if you get 5 wins and 0 losses, you're going to go up against somebody really hard. I mean, that's how F&M works. Don't really have a complaint there. Player matchmaking rating, which is MMR, which I don't get why they need MMR and then rank. Like, isn't that the same thing? But they just refuse to say what MMR actually is. They say how it's used, but they don't say what establishes it, like what goes into it. And then the very next entry is deck. Well, I thought your deck went into your MMR. I thought that was... Oh my gosh, I hate this article so much. Thankfully, they're better at programming than they are at writing articles. So when they say deck, do they mean color, win rate, lifetime win rate, number of mythics? They aren't going to say it. I think there's reasons that they're holding information back. It's to keep people from gaming the system, but then again, as soon as people figure out how it works, they're going to game the system anyway. Like, we found out that deleting a deck and re-importing it would reset its deck, I don't know, power or whatever, and then they seem to have patched that. So why not just be upfront about it and just make it non-exploitable? It's that simple. So anyway, deck, just deck in general goes into matchmaking, and games played and then an asterisk. And then the funny thing is the asterisk doesn't refer to anything anywhere, like at all. So games played with a little caveat, and they're not going to tell you what the caveat is. Thanks, guys. Like, do they mean games played lifetime, games played with that deck, games played within an event, games played... like, or how many like rewards you got? Like that could literally mean anything. That's why I love how they're trying to explain this, and all they do is give people more questions. This whole article, I can't even tell you how aggravating it is. So let's see. While it might go without saying, we don't use all of these weights in all of our formats. So, this is fun. They say the only time rank matters in our matchmaking system is when you're playing in a ranked event. Well, that's not true, because in free play, I'm not going up against gold tier 1 people. Like, obviously rank matters. I'm going up against bronze people plus or minus 1 rank above or below me. So clearly that statement was incorrect, obviously. Unless your rank wasn't taken into account at all, I was just playing up against bronze people by coincidence, and it takes into account this mystery MMR, whatever the hell that is, which they're sure as hell not going to explain it. But regardless, I think that was just a typo, or that statement was just blatantly false. So, whatever. Other weights, such as amount of games played, are situational. What does that mean? I would love to know what that means. That is just vague enough to piss me off. Below, we break down each of our event types, the systems we used prior to this update, and any changes we've made with the December update. Changes to MMR. Oh, this clears it right up, everybody. But before we get into the nitty-gritty details of the upcoming changes, we wanted to take some time to explain what we mean when we say matchmaking rating. I love how that's how it opens, and then this is the rest of the paragraph. Or MMR for short. Matchmaking rating is our way to try to ensure that you face the best possible opponent at any given time. What our system considers best pulls from a variety of criteria that will vary depending upon the format, such as rank, win-loss record, deck, player skill, etc., and the amount of time you spent searching for a match. So that one's obvious. The longer you go, they'll be like, okay, just let them play somebody like artificially below or above them, because they got to play someone. However, in our breakdown below, when you see MMR, we are referring specifically to a player's matchmaking rating. So, do decks have an MMR? Are there two MMRs? I have no idea what they're talking about, and it only gets worse, I assure you. This is comically bad. We wanted to call this out because in addition to changing some of the weights used in matchmaking, we've also adjusted the calculations and criteria for determining a player's MMR. Great, we still don't know what it is. I guess that implies it's a number. What resets it? What is it based on? How many MMRs are there? No idea. Even if the current, so old by the way, versus 0.1 patch doesn't look terribly different, you should see an improvement in the quality of your opponents across the board. So that would be appreciated if that's true. As with most live service games, this will be a living, breathing system that we'll likely need to make further adjustments to, especially in the next few months. Oh, I agree. The other half of this is breaking down a player's MMR into 3 distinct categories. Okay, so open play MMR, constructed MMR, and limited MMR. But see, with the new system, don't you have a new tier ranking too? How is tier different than MMR? Is your MMR your tier mixed with your deck power? It's like a hybrid, but that other list said no, it's tier and deck and MMR. But my understanding was MMR contains all of those. Who knows? All I know is if you suck at limited, it won't affect constructed, according to what they just said, so that's cool. And yes, this is a big part of why we're running a couple of preseasons. By the way, yeah, so the results right now are probably going to get reset. It's like the preseason right now. Before we get into finer details about who, how, and when you can qualify for some of these MTG Arena Mythic Championships we recently announced. Here, let me tell you right now, you will likely need to win 97 to 99 to 100% of your games to qualify. So I don't really need their feedback or their calculation to know that. I've already looked at the tables. You will need to basically never lose. So if somebody finds an exploit or way to cheat or view their opponent's cards or give themselves a couple percent advantage, that is how they're going to get to Mythic level. Trust me. Because losses will penalize you pretty damn heavily, although a little bit less heavily than before, which makes sense because before the big reset, I was easily silver 1, 2, 3 floating around, and I have not been able to get out of bronze for more than about one game this entire time, and I have about a 75 to 80% win rate. It's mathematically impossible to get out of bronze right now, basically. So hopefully they change that. Your feedback is extremely valuable to us as we test these changes out. That is true. They do listen to us, so that's cool. As a final note, all existing MMR values and rank will be reset as part of the rollout. So yeah, you just got reset. Good for you. Play best of one, old system, not applicable. So it was random. You were literally just picking people out at random. So with the new patch, open play MMR, games played, and deck weight. So when you do, it just says play. Do they mean open play, free play, unranked, ranked? Thanks for that title. But best of one, with the new patch, it takes into consideration your open play MMR, games played, like in a week, in a day, lifetime per deck. Not going to tell us? Cool. And your deck weight, however that's calculated. Are you all kind of getting what I'm getting here, where this is just vague enough to piss me off? Because you're probably right there with me at this point. We're adding a new unranked best of one format to replace our previous ladder play option. So this is the new unranked thing if you've been on Arena. Yeah. The funny thing is it uses an MMR, so there's just a rank, you just can't see it. It literally won't have a rank. You won't have a bronze tier whatever rank, but you're still going to get matched up against people using your open play MMR, the number of games you played, in deck weight. So that's honestly worse, but if it's unranked, who cares who wins? Usually that kind of thing would just be casual, who cares, let's have fun, who knows who I'm playing and who knows what their power level is, who cares if it's fair. and who cares who wins, like mostly like, hey, I'm deck testing. So don't get too shook over how they're doing matchmaking in this one. So this next paragraph is key because this is huge, because for once I actually know what the hell they're talking about. So once the queue has matched players with a similar open play MMR range, and of course, like they said, as the timer ticks, the range will open up a little bit more, we'll do a secondary check. So chronologically, they're going to happen in that order that takes into consideration, it says they deck they're playing. I'm sure it's supposed to be the deck they're playing. This new system should ensure that players are, get this, more accurately matched on both their skill and deck strength, while hopefully cutting down on the amount of mirror matches, since MMR and deck, so deck strength, are two independent checks now, instead of being tied together simultaneously as they were previously. Oh, hallelujah. So before they'd be like, okay, well, you're bronze tier 3. Cool, so that's 50 points. Just assign a number to it. Okay, now add to that number your deck's strength level, and it's like, then you get an average. Well, the problem with that is everybody else in bronze tier 3 running the same exact deck as you probably has about the same deck strength rating, because it has about the same number of wins, assuming they're about as good as you, which they are, because they're also in bronze 3, so they're about as good as you. So if you're playing Merfolk, they're playing Merfolk, the same exact one, so it'll be a mirror match. So what they're saying is, first you get played just on open play MMR. That's it. Then it will double check, it will make like a last second emergency check to see, is this a horrible matchup? Is this a mirror match? What's the similarity? Are they sharing colors? You know, something like that. Or like, is this person, do they have a crappy MMR but a crazy deck? Like all Planeswalkers, all Mythics, or, you know, something like that. Who knows how they're really measuring it? Honestly, I still think it's card price. I really do. And then they're like, okay, yeah, this person has a low MMR, but look at this deck. This person's going to get blown out of the water. It might also check for bad matchups, where it's like, historically, mono white would lose to mono red 85% of the time. So they're like, okay, we know they have similar MMRs, but this is a really bad color matchup. So mirror matches, bad matchups, and horrible like power deficiency matchups are going to be rejected, and they will pair you with somebody else. That alone should help quite a bit. But then again, this is the unranked free play system, so like, who cares, kind of? But still, just playing for fun should be way more fun now. So they go on to say, last, the matchmaking system will look at the number of games played up to 50. That will allow us to ramp up new players into a larger, more experienced pool of players over time. Like 50 ever? Like lifetime? Wouldn't everybody hit that? Then everybody would be on the same page within a couple weeks? Like up to 50 that day? Or like, when does it reset? That's kind of important. So combined with other changes, this should make some of the earlier matches against other players more new player friendly. I think they do mean lifetime. I think they legitimately mean lifetime. But then again, if I've played 500 matches and somebody else has played 200, are they just going to right off the bat assume that I'm a better player? Because, I mean, it probably is true, but like maybe not. You could play poorly for 500 games. I mean, you might be learning absolutely nothing. I mean, call me crazy, but I think they should probably factor that in. So maybe they just literally mean below 50, above 50, that's it. And that is the end of the number of games consideration. We don't know. They don't specify. But the intent is to have new players play against new players. So, I mean, if that's all there is to the system, yeah, I'd totally get behind that. Plus, I mean, if somebody's new to the game and they've only played 7 games, even if they won 6 of them, that doesn't mean that they're the world's best player and it's time to put them up against gold people. Like, at that sample size, the MMR should mean absolutely nothing. So it does make sense if they're like under 50, they get a special classification and practically ignores their MMR. So again, this does replace the previous play option, which used a combination of deck weight plus MMR for matchmaking, and game results affected your constructed rank. For those of you looking for a ranked option without deck weighing, keep reading. Then they have traditional play, best of 3. Oh, please don't tell me that's the only option. I hope not. Fun fact, around 250 million games of Magic were played on Arena since it was invented, and 97% of them were best of 1. So everybody who was telling me that I'm an idiot for testing my decks in best of 1 on X-Mage, shove it up your ass. It's the best way to test a deck. It's the best way to play Magic, honestly. Yeah, I get sideboarding, it's important. Save that for paper and when I have more time, okay? I don't want to play against the same deck or the same person 3 times. I just don't. It's really that simple. I want a high variety so I know what to change in my deck and what works and what doesn't, what decks I'm good against and what decks I'm not. And the best way to do that is at an average of 2.5 times the speed because you'll play against a wider variety of decks. It's really that simple. So the next section is open play traditional best of 3, and they just say we're also adding a new unranked best of 3 queue that only matches players based on their open play MMR, and that's it. This is a place for players who want to do some test driving of their decks before entering into traditional constructed events where they can compete for prizes. So strangely, in best of 3, they dropped your deck power from the matchmaking completely. I'm not even sure they stated that correctly. I think they're actually wrong about that. I mean, best of 3 for testing is actually pretty good, and maybe they purposely did it because it resembles F&M. So they want you to go up against literally any deck of any power, but a similar MMR, because it's a good way to test a deck, I guess. I don't know. Who cares? I don't play that. Kind of neat, though. Next, ranked best of 1. So they have unranked best of 1, ranked best of 1, and I guess it's called ranked play and open play. That's the terminology. So with ranked, they consider your rank and your constructed MMR. Nowhere in there is your deck power. Once again, I don't believe that. I think they're full of crap, but then again, maybe MMR does contain deck weight. They also say that the number of games you played won't affect this. I also don't believe that. Let's put it this way, I'll believe it when I see it, because they leaned pretty damn hard on that before, but then again, everybody hated it, so who knows what they changed. With the new ranked queue for best of 1, we'll be testing out a new ranking system. The new ranking systems. That's right, that is true. There are multiple. You'll no longer just have one rank, by the way, which is kind of nice. Players will primarily be matched based on their rank, with a secondary look at their constructed MMR. And that's it, period. There's no deck power bullshit in here, so that's nice. Like our play button, there is no entry or rewards in ranked. So it's like ranked open play, like it's not an event, is what they're saying. Unlike play, ranked won't use deck weight or games played as part of your matchmaking. Oh, okay. And instead, we will primarily be matching players based on, you guessed it, rank. Well, hallelujah. Now, I mean, that's why they call it the Rank Matters update, because now your rank is actually going to mean something. Which I told them, stop looking at decks, stop looking at number of mythics, stop looking at my last 10 games, just stop. Just look at my rank, because if I go up against a horrifically overpowered opponent who's also my rank, I'm going to drop in rank and they're going to go up, so I'm probably not going to play them again. It will sort itself out, and other games primarily use like your rank as who you go up against. Like StarCraft does that, and so what? You might win 10 in a row. Cool. Then you'll be up in the gold ranking and you'll start winning 50% and just hover there. I mean, that's really how it should have been in the first place. All this deck weight games played bullshit should stay out of it. So they have confirmed word for word they are staying out of it. Oh good, I just sold something on eBay. Once again, I forgot to mute my phone. Ooh, $720 item. Hell yeah. Guess I'll be hauling my fat ass to Hardee's after this. Just kidding. I just got back from the gym. I'm just eating scrambled eggs. And I also drank enough protein mix to like literally kill an elephant. Oh, and by the way, how much you can bench press is now also used in matchmaking. They said that in one of the sentences, I assure you. Oh, and also your current ranking on Wii Sports Resort sword fighting is also used in the matchmaking too. So hey, yeah, let my deck speak for itself, and I will rank up and rank down with it accordingly. It's really that simple. And if I switch decks, cool. I mean, now that they have an unranked, but deck weight thing where you don't really care who wins for testing, I don't have to worry about going into ranked with a deck I'm just testing, which was how they were probably looking at deck weight, which was probably the deck's win rate over time. And if it was just like none you haven't played with it before, you'd go up against easier people. So I think their whole solution was, okay, if you want to test the deck, just do it in unranked. Boom, your deck is not a factor whatsoever in ranked, which I love that. I absolutely love that. Still don't know what the hell an MMR is though. What is it based on? Who knows? They seem to be implying not deck and not number of games played. So literally no idea what else it could be based on. But also it's separate from rank. See, I don't understand this at all. Anyway, for the first preseason, all the tiers within a rank will be weighted equally for the purposes of matchmaking. So Bronze Tier 3 carries the same weight as Bronze Tier 1. Why the hell would they do that? Why as a Bronze 4 would I want to get randomly matched up against a Bronze 1 person? That sounds like a great way to not progress whatsoever. So, I mean, okay, bronze versus bronze, cool. And they said in another post, like, once you get to silver, there's a little bit of protection so that you don't just lose one game and get deranked. But still, I don't know about that. At least give it plus or minus 1. I mean, come on. Well, whatever. It sounds like you rank up and down faster anyway, so maybe it's like there's a little bit less of a skill gap between 1 and 4 as there is now. So they have a ranked draft, best of 1. It's currently going to be your rank, obviously, your win-loss record, and limited MMR. So your entire MMR from all of limited in every form, whatever the hell an MMR is. Now, the old system was just your win-loss record. That's it. Nothing would be considered but your win-loss record for that one event. So now, if you're really, really, really good at ranked draft, or just drafting in general, you're going to start out playing better people. So if you're like silver rank in draft, you're not just going to get 3 easy wins every time because, the only thing that matters in the event is like this, you win, you play a winner, you lose, you play a loser thing. Your win-loss record, and that's it. So now your rank will be considered, which is fantastic. I love that. That is just about the best change they made to the game so far, period. So if you're way too good at draft, and by way too good, I mean you're using a cheater program to tell you what to draft mathematically and all kinds of statistic tracking and all these other overlay programs and crap, then you're going to be playing up against gold people and screw you. Have fun. Every single game, starting from game 1 in every single draft event, you're going to have to be going up against someone who's cheating as hard as you are, which is hilarious. You deserve it. Now get this, traditional draft best of 3, the old system was only your win-loss record, and the new system is only your win-loss record. So they say, I'd love to hear an explanation of this. We know that an important part of our player base who prefers a more Swiss style of matchmaking, which is that's the word I was looking for before. Winners play winners, losers play losers. That's called Swiss. So there's a certain amount of the player base who prefers a more Swiss style of matchmaking where your first round pairings are randomized and subsequent rounds are based on your win-loss record. I can't read. Traditional draft is one of those events and will remain unchanged in how it matches with the release of the December update. So if you prefer that, you can do that, which is wonderful. I mean, because that does match, pre-releases and FNM. So if that's what you're used to, I hope you like playing best of 3. Honestly, that was really nice that they left that in. So now there's sealed best of 1. Now remember, you have a limited MMR, and the term limited applies to both sealed and draft. I'm amazing at sealed. I'm terrible at draft. You probably shouldn't have a limited MMR in my opinion, Wizards. But I just never draft, so not really a problem for me. So sealed best of 1. That is the win-loss record and your limited MMR. Real simple. So they say sealed pairings will be primarily based on the win-loss record, but will include a secondary check to compare limited MMRs between players. So it's going to be heavily Swiss, but with just, wait a minute, this guy's played 37 drafts this month and he's won 75% of them. Maybe don't put him up against this person. It's a little double check there, that'll be nice. This is something we hope will ensure newer players will have better matchups for this popular event. It's really that simple. I agree completely. Seriously though, what is a freaking MMR? I keep going back to this. What the hell is a matchmaking ranking? What does it mean? How is it calculated? Is it your lifetime wins and losses, your win-to-loss ratio, your last 50 games win-to-loss ratio? Is it the number of decks you own? Is it the number of packs you've opened? It literally could be anything, and they're not telling us, and that's really pissing me off. So, constructed event best of 1. So that's just the event. You pay 500 coins, you go into the event. The former system was win-loss record only, and the new system is win-loss record only. So that's interesting. They say, while we're implementing changes to our constructed events, it's not in the form of matchmaking. Okay, as with traditional draft, we do believe there is a place in Arena for events that only look at the participating players' win-loss record, and that's it. I agree. The cause for concern with constructed events, this is hilarious by the way, is the amount of players who jump into them using unmodified NPE decks. I could not figure out what that means, but I'm going to say welcome decks or pre-assembled unmodified, only to find themselves facing off against someone using a deck that was featured prominently at a recent Pro Tour. Let me just, that whole sentence. Why did you type that whole sentence? Why didn't you just say net decking douchebags? Why don't you use the same terminology as the rest of the community? They're called net decking douchebags. Use the term. Oh wait, they love acronyms. NDDs. I mean, if they're not going to tell us what NPE means, they might as well say NDDs, and people would have put it together in the head. Oh, net decking douchebags. Okay. Our current theory is that by including ICRs, hey, I know that one, individual card rewards, as part of the prize pool, newer players are given the impression that this is an event that can help them build their collection, which is the intent behind including individual card rewards in some of the more casual events like Singleton and Pauper. I'm pretty sure they included them just because they're fun as hell. And all that wacky shit, like drawing 2 cards per turn and stuff, and like you can only play creatures above 5 or whatever crazy crap they've been doing. That's just for fun. I mean, Momir, come on, Momir, like that was clearly just for like weirdness. But anyway, I think what they're specifically meaning here is if you win like 2 games and lose 3, you still get what, like 1 guaranteed rare individual card reward or something? Or like after the 3rd game, it turns into like at least 1 rare, which is like, hey, that's pretty good. I mean, you can't control what it is, and it's any card that's in standard, but it's still like, it looks like a pretty good reward if you add the coins with the cards. And that is true. So to try and combat that, I don't even remember what they're referring to at this point, we're removing ICRs. Oh, this is that change that went over really well. And making up for this by adjusting the amount of gold players can earn as prizes. I don't get what they were saying was misleading, and then they said, but that is what they meant, but then they're changing it. Like, I don't follow that, but anyway, they took out cards and added in gold, which, I mean, you could use gold to open packs that you actually are targeting cards from, so in the end, it's the same thing, but I heard people were kind of pissed about this for some reason. In the future, we may look at other ways we can communicate to players that they should expect a specific level of play, such as recommending a certain constructed rank before participating. Oh, so they'd be like, hey, you suck at limited. Don't go into this limited event. It's tough in there. Or like, do, but know that your rank doesn't mean anything because it's only Swiss. That'd actually be kind of nice. Like, I don't have these memorized which one does what, so... Anyway, okay, so traditional constructed event best of 3. Which is, normal constructed, but an event, the buy-in 500, whatever. I think those are 1,000 to buy in. It's going to be 100% Swiss, win-loss record only. I should really make a chart of this. It'd be nice as a reference. And finally, for special events like Momir, Pauper, Singleton, and whatever crazy crap they come up with. The other one was called Blitzkrieg, by the way. They didn't call it that, but it's Blitzkrieg. I mean, let's be honest. Double draw, 9-card hands, that's Blitzkrieg, okay? It just is. It was slightly similar, but anyway, for the special events, win-loss record only. No special event MMR or your rank or any of that crap. 100% Swiss, the way it should be. I'm totally feeling that. I kind of like the fact that it's like hard to go like 7-0 in it, because by the time you won 5 in a row, you're going to be going up against some good people, like people who basically are also 5-0 or close to it. I'm just used to it. I'm used to it from F&M. They're completely right. There's people who want that, and I want that. But I also think that in the more commonly played formats, like individual constructed best of 1 or whatever, that if I've been playing for a while and I prove that I'm a gold level player, I should probably be playing against gold level people instead of just absolutely blowing out of the water the first 3 people I play in every single event. So ignoring rank for some and counting rank for others, I totally get it and I totally support it. Hopefully you guys do too. So finally, they end with an FAQ. Oh my god, I didn't read this yet. What's the difference between rank and player MMR? As badly as I want to know this, I have not read the answer yet. I guarantee you, my psychic prediction is that they're not going to tell you. It's going to be something so stupidly vague that we're not going to have any more idea what the answer to that question was than before they asked it. Let's read it together. To put it simply, rank is a goal and MMR helps determine who you're competing against to reach that goal. Period. End of statement. Called it. I have absolutely no idea what the hell an MMR is. Is it based on win-loss, lifetime, number of games played, gold you own, wild cards, how many packs you've opened? What is it? What the hell is MMR? How do I affect it? How do I make it go up and down? How do I know if it's going up and down? I get what it does, but what the hell is it, wizards? What is it based on? At this point, all we know is it's not based on your deck, it's not based on your rank, and it's not based on the number of games you've played. What is left? Is it just your interseason rank? Is it your lifetime win-to-loss rate? What the hell is it? This whole article is bullshit. I need to know what a fucking MMR is, and I need to know now. These vague bullshit statements where you pretend like you're gonna explain it are getting on my last nerve, wizards. So anyway, let's move on before my head explodes. Oh good, they're gonna clarify some more shit. Not. Is player MMR the same as ELO? What the fuck is ELO? Oh wait, it's that 90s electronica band, Electronic Light Orchestra. Okay, don't know how they come in, but oh my god, I just looked it up. I don't think that ELO actually wrote Loud Electronic Ferocious. I think Furry Corsten actually wrote the original. Anyway, ELO, or an ELO rating, that clears it right up, is a well-known method for calculating the relative skill levels of players in games. I've never heard that term. No games I play even use MMR as a term. They literally just call it ranking. I've never heard of ELO either. I've heard of ranking, tier, class, and like KDR. That's it, and win rate. Maybe I just play weird games. I don't know. Anyway, it has historically been used in matchmaking games as a way to ensure that pairings are fair. But just like all squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares, not all matchmaking systems use ELO. Good, because I don't know what that is. Even with matchmaking systems that do incorporate ELO-based calculations, many competitive organizations will make adjustments or use a derivative system to fit the specific needs of their games and or competitive scenes. That's a polite way of saying just assume the Chinese players are cheating and don't match Americans against them. Using our rectangle example, you might consider these systems rhombuses. That just cleared it right the fuck up for me. Some games have even foregone ELO entirely. You're still not telling me what the fuck it is, and I'm not going to go look it up on Wikipedia. And instead use other established algorithms to quantify skill level or even develop their own in-house system. However, because ELO is such a wide or well-known rating system, some people will use it as shorthand for whatever their player skill rating system is, even if it's being calculated by a completely different method. Fuck it, I'm going to look it up. Okay, it's actually not an acronym. It's some guy's last name and it has something to do with chess, and I still don't get it after reading 3 paragraphs on Wikipedia. Big surprise. So what they're saying, I believe, is ELO is a bullshit calculation. They don't use it because they use an even more convoluted bullshit calculation. Just call it MMR instead. Oh, and by the way, the R stands for ranking, but it's different than ranking. That makes sense. Yep, you cleared it right up for me once again. Thanks, wizards. But they have assured us, no, our player MMR is not the same as ELO. Okay, well, I'm not going to go look at a bunch of equations and shit, and you're not going to tell me how an MMR is calculated, so really useful information there. Here's a question. Here's an FAQ. Why is MMR separate? And this is the last question. I would love it if they would answer this, but they haven't answered a damn one of these questions. There are 2 distinct parts to this. First and foremost, as many longtime Magic the Gathering players would probably attest to, Constructed and Limited are very different formats. That's true. I happen to be good at both of them. But then again, within Limited, I'm terrible at Draft. Using a singular MMR across all of our event types and modes can lead to some unfun and downright unfair matchups for people who play regularly in one format, but only occasionally in another. That's why there's now a limited rank and there's multiple ranks. So why do we need an MMR, and what the fuck is it? This is aggravating. So, we also wanted to ensure that a player's rank was not wholly dependent on their MMR. So your matchmaking multiplayer ranking is different from your matchmaking multiplayer ranking, is what they're saying. Cool. While the 2 are related, matchmaking has a very real impact on a player's ability to progress to a certain rank. We can now make adjustments to our MMR without it changing your rank. You know the R still stands for rank in both of them, right? And this makes no fucking sense. So it also means that we can have seasonal rankings and resets without resetting MMR as well. I knew it! MMR is tracked between seasons. I knew it. So it's just your tier ranking, but for a longer term. So if it's bad, you're going to be stuck with it forever. And if it's good, you're going to be stuck with it forever. That's nice. And yes, it creates a bit of a safety net against players who are willing to sacrifice their limited ranking or vice versa to lower their MMR and ensure easier matches in the format of their choice. Okay, well, how does it do that? Because how the hell is it calculated? I hope somebody understands this, or one of the devs posts in the comment section about what any bit of this at all means, because it's just complete and utter vague bullshit to me. And I think that's on purpose so that you can't, game it like they're saying at the end here. Whatever, who the fuck knows? At MMR and, well, ELO is supposed to be like predicting who wins, is what that basically is. Like, it's like skill level, and then they like from there are like, well, are they supposed to win and who's supposed to win? And I think it's how they're gonna hand out rank up and rank down percentages, even though in a separate post they said they're not doing that at all. So like I said at the beginning, this entire post, the entire article, everything is bullshit. It means nothing. I got almost no usable information from this. It's just a bunch of vague horseshit that doesn't help us in any way, shape, or form. Who the fuck knows who you're going to be paired up against? But what they did say is some of it is Swiss and some of it isn't. And thank God they're taking deck strength out of it, because that was bullshit anyway. It's like I've always said, a dumbass who doesn't know how to play Magic with a $300 net deck is still going to lose because they suck at playing Magic. So trying to measure the deck power, probably not a good idea for bad players who are just copying decks off the internet, which I don't care if net deckers get obliterated, but for fairness, I guess that's probably why they did this. So the real takeaway from this is they're doing rankings differently, and it might be a little bit more fair, and your rank is actually going to mean something. But way more important is MMR, and no, they're not going to tell you how it's calculated, what it means, or what it's based on, or any single little detail about it. So good luck, it's probably still going to be random and totally fucked up. That's my summary. That's my book report on this bullshit. There's still like 3 other posts, but I'm going to split it off into a different thing, because one's like how you rank up and down and how your ranks are differently, and then you get like rewards per season and crap, so that's more of a different video. So watch for that in the near future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.